What's up, Buffs Nation? Today we are throwing out the rules and doing something that we have never done before.
As well, we want to play clean. You want to be dominant, but you want to play clean because at the end of the day, you want your opponent's respect. You do.
Today we are going to run through 12 life-changing quotes from Coach Prime. If there's something that I love about Coach Prime, it's that he is an endless source of inspiration. There's been so much negativity in the media lately about this team, and we figured that we would break that up. We hope you enjoy these quotes as much as we have. All right, first up, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. And if you play good, they pay good. Now, obviously, this is a Coach Prime spin on a pretty classic quote that we've all heard before. But adding the "they pay good" is something that Coach Prime obviously knew a lot about. But if there's something else that Coach Prime has always known about, it's how to look good, even since his early days back at Florida State, up through his time in the NFL and the MLB, and now with what he's doing in Colorado. Something that I think that this could be applicable to more than just football, though. And Coach Prime has spent a lot of time this last week talking to the guys about their future and what he expects from them and what he sees for them going forward. And this doesn't just apply to football. This is something that's very true in corporate America or dressing for the job that you want or that you're going after. And I think it's an important life lesson that not only we can take application from, but also Coach Prime's players that won't go pro in football or athletics can take hold of as well. How about the next one? When you're winning, everyone wants to be your friend, but when you're losing, you find out who your real friends are. Now, after the Stanford game, I think all of us Buffalo fans are finding out who our real friends are. Unlike Jason Whitlock, who has been clowning Coach Prime for years, a lot of people are just pulling their knives out after this game. And we tried to talk about this. We tried to explain that this very well might and probably would happen. The media loves to build you up when you're on top of that mountain. They love to sing your praises when it's convenient, when that fits the narrative. But they sure do love to tear you down the moment that adversity comes. But like Coach Prime says, you find out who your friends are when you're losing. Those who stay loyal. Those of you who continue to watch our content, Well-Off's content, other content out there around Colorado. Those of you who are going to continue to tune in no matter what happens all year when the Buffs are playing. Those are the people that Coach Prime is talking about. The next one. Let's stop right now and trust God with all of our hearts and mind. We claim we have faith, but we fear what today and tomorrow may bring us. We must believe wholeheartedly that God has our best interest at heart, and we will be great in all aspects. Let's trust God and not what you see and hear. Now, once again, whether you are religious or not, you can appreciate the light that Coach Prime's faith puts in him. He has accomplished so much in life, and he attributes nearly all of it to his God, to the one he worships, to his creator. Obviously, there are other forces. We think about his mom. We think about those who have impacted him, like coaches, like Coach Bowden and others, but he gives so much credit to God. And again, whether you're a Christian or Muslim or Jew, it doesn't matter. What matters is having something that you believe in. And Coach Prime has that. And it's an invaluable life lesson for all of us to have that faith, have that hope, have that trust, have that belief. No matter what your belief system is, Coach Prime shows you that it is important to have it. Next up, the only way to get better is to challenge yourself. Grind like you are a gear in an engine. Grind like you are making coffee. I don't know if any of you grind your own coffee or not. My wife is currently obsessed with that. We can't buy coffee that's already ground. We must grind it ourselves. And so it is a project for me at a lot of times that I don't want to grind coffee, that I have to go out and do that. What is grinding coffee like? Well, it's not fun. It's not quiet. It's not an easy process, but it's something that we do. It requires you to pull out a couple extra dishes. It requires you to pull out a couple of extra appliances. It's not convenient, but the coffee's a lot better. The coffee is markedly better when you grind your own grounds. And that's how you get better. You don't get better by playing teams that you're better than all the time. You get better by playing the Oregons and the USCs and the TCUs and the Nebraskas, the teams that people say you can't beat. You think Coach Prime is worried about the second half of this schedule? I don't think so. Colorado may be an underdog in every game that they play left on the schedule, maybe except for one. You think he's worried about that? No, he's not at all. He knows that challenging his team and challenging yourself is how you get better in anything. Next up, don't let anyone tell you that you can't do something. I'm reminded of the folks that are coming out this week and saying that Travis Hunter needs to focus on one position or the other. Now, I'm not an NFL scout, and so I won't speak from the position of an NFL scout. And if that is a decision that Coach Prime and Travis Hunter and his mentors and NFL scouts all come to, that's completely fine. But I'm not going to tell this young man what he should and shouldn't do. If his dream and his goal is to play both sides of the ball, and he takes wise counsel from an NFL Hall of Famer who is his head coach and others who are on that coaching staff who have played in the league and coached college football for years, and that's what he wants to do, then he shouldn't let anyone tell him that he can't do something. And I think that's Coach Prime's message to not only Travis Hunter, which is the immediate story that I think of, but to everyone on this roster. The entire message that this Colorado football team is going to hear is that they can't win games the second half of the schedule. Oh, you got lucky against TCU, or you caught Nebraska at a good time, and you happen to sneak away from Arizona State or Colorado. That's what they're going to hear. And Coach Prime's going to force it into their minds that you don't have to listen to that outside noise. You can do hard things. We've proven it already this year, and we're going to do it on the back half of this schedule. Next up, expectation is a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. Also, a belief that someone will achieve something. What are your true expectations? Do you believe? Have you put in the work to achieve something? Do you really have hope that you will get what you want? I need you to truly expect what you expect now. Boy, there's a lot to unpack there. And we won't spend 10 minutes on this like we probably could. But again, it goes back to faith. It goes back to believing. And not even necessarily in a religious sense this time. But we love that Coach Prime is shouting out all of the hard work it takes to achieve something. Faith is not just about when you're out there on the field on 3rd and long and you need to complete a pass to keep the game going. Faith is about putting in the work and believing that the work you put in Monday through Friday is going to carry over into Saturday when you're in that situation. Coach Prime shouts out that hard work, that faith, that effort, that belief that it takes to get to those expectations. Hey guys, quick favor to ask you. We noticed that a lot of you are subscribed, but you don't have the notifications turned on. If you could take a quick second and turn those notifications on, you will be the first to see every time we drop new content nearly daily. We would so much appreciate that. All right, next up, if you're not willing to work hard, you don't deserve to succeed. I love this one. I think it's phenomenal. If there's one thing I want from my kids, I don't care if they're the smartest, the fastest, the tallest, the best looking, whatever. I want them to work hard. And I had a high school basketball coach who was fairly talented, but why he was so good. He won Coach of the Year, year after year after year, at a very small private school where we didn't recruit. We didn't have a lot of kids coming in that were ultra talented. He worked harder than everybody, and he required that from his teams. And hard work has always been, to me, the most attractive characteristic in another person. Whether that's a mate or a spouse or a friend or a colleague or a coworker, hard work is what is most attractive in another human being to me. I want to be friends with people who work their tails off. I want to cheer for people who work their tails off, like Coach Prime. My biggest athlete fandom of all time was Kobe Bryant. And the reason why is because of the work that he put in. Obviously, super talented, super phenomenally talented. But he was the guy that was at the gym 4 hours before the game started, before anyone else was. He was the guy who, after wins or losses, was out there getting shots up after the game. The work is what made him different. And the work that Coach Prime's talking about is the work you have to do to succeed. Next up, if you can dream it, you can do it. Guys, I don't know if you believe this or not, but dreams are so powerful. And what you dream and what you visualize and what you write down and what you obsess over, people who are successful are obsessive over what they want to succeed in. Coach Prime is obsessed with this sport. He talked about it. He talked about how much he loves the game. He doesn't just like this game. He's obsessed about it. And the greats, LeBron, Michael, Kobe, Tom Brady, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, they're obsessed. They don't just like a sport. They're obsessed about it. So you have to dream about it, and you have to be obsessed with those dreams. Next up, you've got to believe when no one else does. You've got to believe even when you're not well, when you're hurting, when you've been to hell and back. You've got to believe when it's popular not to believe. No matter what, you've got to believe. I do, and God doesn't want me alone. Again, I'm telling you, the narrative around this team, the narrative around Colorado football for these next couple of weeks is not going to be pretty. It's negative. There's a lot of negativity out there based on the way that things have gone. And I get it. This is a negative world that we live in. But believing in what Coach Prime is doing, what Coach Prime is building, is massive for this program, for the fans of this program, and others who want to be involved with it as well. The recruits that are coming, the transfers that will come in, and more. Next up, don't limit yourself. Many people limit themselves to what they think they can do. You can go as far as your mind lets you. What you believe, remember, you can achieve. So many people put so many limits on themselves. Oh, I could never do this, or I could never create this, or I could never be part of this. And most of the time, that's just completely false. Most of the time, you can do way, way more than you think. And Coach Prime says it here. Do not limit yourself. Next up, keep moving forward and don't look back. Where you're headed is much greater than where you've been. So get ready, baby. Stop focusing on the pitfalls of yesterday and embrace the unknowns of today. You have promise and hope. Now just believe. How true is that? How true is that for this team this year? Don't look back. Keep moving forward. Where you're headed is much greater than where you've been. And I'm telling you, there is a temptation, I'm sure, for these Buffs to look back, to think, oh, what could have been, what we might have been able to do. If we could have just got this win or just gotten this win, scored one more against USC, scored one more time against Stanford. But that's not important. What's important now is resting up through this bye week and then the 5 opponents remaining on the schedule. So many people make the horrible mistake of reliving past failures. And while you can learn from the past, you can't spend time dwelling on it. All right, last one. Stop overthinking everything and live. Yes, there are consequences for our actions, right and wrong, but stop overanalyzing everything. Trust God and trust that you're headed in the right direction. If the enemy ain't coming against you, you're walking with him. That's how simple life is. Let's go, baby. Stop overthinking everything and live. Listen, I overthink things. I go back and forth in my mind. Oh, what if this happens? What if that? I play out multiple scenarios in my head. I think about the worst and best case scenarios. How will I respond if this happens? And then if this happens, how will I respond to that? And then if this good or bad happens, and I get like 16 levels away, and I'm sitting there overthinking things to a ridiculous degree. And most of the time, if you just let that go, let that worry go, and just live, things work out a lot smoother. Your mental health is better. You don't worry as much. And that's a great life lesson for all of us as well. Hey, something different today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. We really like that Coach Prime is, again, more than a football coach. We love that Coach Prime is here to simplify life and tell us to stop overthinking things and have faith and believe. We appreciate you guys. We hope that you're subscribed. Thank you guys, as always, for watching the Prime Time for college football.